All right, music fans, welcome back. Harmless Dave here, talking about real music in real time for a few real people out there, just like you and just like me, and special guests on the show today, not just one, but the magic of Zoom allows us to do two special guests today. I've got Tommy DeCarlo here from his own band called DeCarlo, and I've got Payton Velligan, who's really the star of the band right now. And she plays, I think, every instrument that I can think of. Payton, how are you first? Let's introduce
Hi.
Payton.
Hi, thank you for having us. I'm doing great. I'm happy to be here. So it's good to talk to you again, Dave.
Yeah, it's good to have you. And Tommy, what's going on, brother?
Not a whole lot. Happy to be back here on your channel, and the bonus is having Peyton with us today. So that's the extra special bonus.
Yeah, and there's this new song that just dropped, and it kind of sounds like DeCarlo with the female lead singer. And I was listening to it going, holy crap, Batman, that's good stuff. Tell us about this new song, how it came into being, and why Payton on lead vocals.
Okay. Well, let me start this one off. I would love to tell you that there's this crazy, great backstory to the song, but there really isn't. It was just an idea that came into my head, which was the hook, "Meet Me in the Middle," and I just started putting it together and to see if there was anything to it, as I do with most song ideas that come into my head. But before I started tracking it and producing it, I thought of it as a duet, and of course, my first thought was having Payton sing it with me. But the key that really fit Payton best vocally was a bit out of my range. It was kind of funny because if we would have done the duet, it would have been, Payton's lovely vocals, and I would have been like at the top of my range, screaming, trying to fit in that key. So I decided at that point to just kind of reconfigure the song a little bit, and I redid it lyrically a little bit, and Payton helped on those lyrics. And then it was something that I just wanted her to sing. And fortunately, she wanted to sing it. And that was pretty much the start of that project.
Payton, how do you feel about the song, how it came out, and being a lead singer? Are you a natural front woman for a rock band, or what's the deal with that?
Well, first of all, of course, it was an honor to be asked to sing on this. It really was, because it started off as just a song for him, and I think he would ask me to maybe do some backgrounds, and then it was going to be a duet, and then he was like, "I just want you to sing all of it." And I'm like, "Are you sure?" But it was really fun. It was actually a long time in the making, kind of. I think we started tracking in 2021, and it was kind of an off and on thing. We tracked and we got really busy with shows, and then when we were less busy, we would come back to it. And so we finally finished it up this summer. But it was a lot of fun. I would say it felt good to do a lead vocal again, because back before I went to college, which was about 4 years ago, I was in a band, a local band called Irrational, and I was the lead singer for that band. So that was kind of where my lead singing, that was my first experience as a lead singer. So I did it. We did a few original EPs together in that band. So I guess I kind of cut my teeth doing like recording lead vocal, recording bass. And so I kind of knew the ropes a little bit, but then doing it with a senior was a bit of a different experience, because he really was the producer and I was just the singer. I gave him all the creative, I wanted him to give me the direction, and, I would take it, and I still think it's really his song, and I just got to sing on it. So that was really fun for me to be in that little booth that's right behind him. I'd stick my head in there. That's where the microphone is. And I would just be like, what do you want me to do? And it really was collaborative from there. And we would kind of go back and forth. Let me try this. Well, how about you try this? And then we'd have a bunch of takes. Okay, let's splice them together. Let's pick out the best one. And we had a lot of laughs and a lot of interesting takes, but a few good ones. So it turned out really well. I'm really happy with it.
Yeah. The song, by the way, is called "Meet Me in the Middle," right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Meet
Okay.
me in the middle.
In case the audience wants to go listen to it, we've been talking about the song without mentioning the title. So Tommy ends up being like Tommy Mutt Lang DeCarlo here. He's in the studio. He's a taskmaster. He's just he's smacking the whip and he's saying, "Come on, that's not that's not the right take. Let's do it again." How many times was this? How many takes did this take? Was this a long? You said it was a long process.
Yeah, David, actually, I remember, Payton, I don't know if you remember this, but I played you a demo of the chorus, possibly. It was almost like 4 years ago. It was that long ago.
I think it was soon after we met.
Yeah, it was just after we met, and I played you the chorus of it, and then but anyway, David, once we got in the studio and Payton started singing it, it was it's nice to wear that producer hat, the engineer hat, where I don't have to worry about singing. And Payton, although she doesn't like me to go too far with my compliments, it kind of embarrasses her a little bit. It's very little work for her. I mean, I'll sing something and you may not know it, but it took me 20 takes to sing that one line, where Payton's very good with that, and she's probably 2 or 3 takes and it's done. So that's fantastic for me. And there are times where I'll sit here and she'll track something and I'll just listen to it and I'll drop my head and I'll kind of be laughing and she'll say, "What?" And I'll say, "Damn, that was good." So
I know, I'm over there worrying. I thought it was so atrocious. You couldn't help but laugh.
Yeah. So
No.
I mean, if you know what, and another thing is, if I ask her to do something vocally, she is very good at going right to that place, and she, all I got to do is just touch on what I think she should do, and then she'll take it from there and even add a little bit more to it. So it's a lot of fun. I would ask Payton to come in and sing anything that I ever recorded, because that's how much I enjoy working with her.
Wow, that's pretty high compliment, Payton, there. And I think I've seen this band perform, and I've noticed that Payton does have that rock star quality up on stage, kind of unassuming rock star, not like, "Hey, everyone look at me." It just, but you exude that rock and roll spirit, and especially for someone your age, because, no offense to everybody out there, but this is becoming kind of I don't want to say an old person's pursuit, but I don't see a lot of younger people getting into rock and roll. So I think it's really cool that Payton is even in this band and doing what she does. And then your son too, Tommy, is in this. So this is kind of like a family business a little bit, huh?
It is, and I've learned a lot, not only from Payton and Tommy Jr., but we have a wonderful drummer who we haven't worked with in a while, Christian Sturt, and him and Payton are very close in age, but they're right there together in talent, and I've learned a lot from them. So it was a perfect storm, if you will, of musicians coming together, young and old, and playing the music that we love.
Yeah, amen to that. So you guys are a hardworking band. You're out on the road quite a bit, and the live show is your bread and butter. Unfortunately, these days, I'm holding up a copy of the latest Tommy DeCarlo album, so folks can see it. Autographed copy, I might add, which could be a collector someday, Tommy, so I appreciate that. Um, you guys are out there. Unfortunately, you're not selling a lot of these just because that's the world we live in. But tell us about how many gigs you guys are doing. Are you going all over the country? I know you're more based in the Carolinas, but what's going on with your live show these days?
Well, we are going out and performing quite a bit. I have a couple of different things that I do. We'll go out and I'll perform with Payton and my son, and we have another wonderful group of musicians. But I will also do some private shows with a band called Six Wire, and they are based out of Nashville. And those private shows are really fun. We've all been together, although Payton, I don't believe you've played with Six Wire, have you, with us?
No, I have not. I've seen
Right,
it.
but we've all been in the same place together, and we've all hung out together, but we keep really busy. I mean, we have a wonderful manager who does a wonderful job booking us. And David, the music that we perform, of course, we play some of the music of Boston, and there's other headliners that come out and play with us. John Elefante come out and played recently. We did the Kansas thing. Jason Sheff, longtime lead vocalist for Chicago. We've done shows with Ann Wilson, Gretchen Wilson, Alice Cooper. I mean, we've had some great, shows that we played with other and opened for other artists. We've opened for REO Speedwagon. We've opened for Styx. We've had some great opportunities, and but really, what it comes down to is performing, the live music that people love, and what they're holding on to from yesterday, and we don't go out there and try to be another band. We go out there and try to celebrate that music, with the talent that we bring to the stage. And it's always a tip of a hat to them, because, without those great bands who made that music back in the day, we probably wouldn't be doing this today.
Yeah. So Payton, how does this all interest you, though? Somebody in your age bracket, we'll call it. A lot of people your age are more into pop and hip hop and rap and all this stuff that's, it's not my favorite kind of music. I'm just going to be honest. So it's just nice to see somebody who's passionate. You've got all these instruments in the background there in your music room. Is quite impressive. I mean, sounds like that you just love music. And how did you get into the rock and roll side of things?
I do love it. I love the music that we play. Sometimes people ask me that after shows. They're like, do you really like this music? Like, is this your music? I'm like, well, this feels like my music. I didn't grow up when it was coming out or when it was being released, or I didn't get to see a lot of these bands in their prime, but I grew up listening to it because of my parents, and my dad played guitar. He still does, but he played before I started playing, and he got me into the guitar. And his acoustic is hanging up somewhere here, and that's his Les Paul from 1976 that he got in the 80s. So
Nice.
these are the instruments that inspired me to want to start playing. I was a huge Beatles fan when I was 9-10 years old. I was obsessed with everything Beatles, and I didn't think that it was strange or different for me to love that music, but then my friends would tell me that it very much was. And I kind of got made fun of for that. But honestly, I think I've gotten the opportunity to meet so many people my age or even younger that love this music, and it just reminds me that there's people who are super into modern music, pop, rap. It's great. I respect all those musicians who are doing that kind of stuff, and most of them. And you know, that's great, but there is actually this audience of kids who grew up like me, who maybe felt like, oh, nobody likes this music anymore, and then you discover it at our shows. There's maybe a couple of, like, kids in the front who are jamming out with their parents, or a couple girls that are my age and they're freaking out about Styx and, you know, REO Speedwagon, a Foreigner, like, oh my gosh, I love them too, you know. So I love that I get to do this for them, because it's really kind of, I've met a lot of friends through it, and through performing and social media and stuff like that. So yeah, I know there's still an audience for it. No, I don't know how exactly big that audience is, but it's worth it to do it for the people who still love it. So,
Yeah, absolutely. So here's a question. Tommy, how did you discover Payton?
Oh, this is a great story. I love this story. It's one of my
Good.
favorites.
See, I cue that. I teed that right up for you.
You did. That was great. Look at me sit right up. I'm all ready for this one. Well, Tommy Jr. introduced me to Payton, and a guitarist. It was, you know, I don't know, 5 years ago. I can't remember exactly when it was, but then we had a DeCarlo show, but it was before Payton was in the band, and she had come to that show. It was a private show for a mutual friend. I didn't know the guy who hired us to come play at his private party, but Payton did. So they came out. Her and her mom were at that show, and we just played our set. And then Tommy says, "Hey, Dad, you remember Payton?" I says, "Oh, yeah, that's right." And he says, "Do you mind if she comes up and sings something with us?" I said, "No." So Payton came up and she sang, I think it was Separate Ways, Journey, I believe, right? Yeah, she came up and sang Separate Ways. We actually have it on audio. So if you want to listen to it someday, Payton, we still have that. I don't know if Tommy ever told you that, but anyway, she came up and sang. And I wasn't on stage during that particular song. Then afterwards, I mean, she did such a great job. And afterwards, I got to meet her and her mom. And I remember speaking to them, and I says, you know, in the back of my mind, I was like, wow, we might can do something with this musician right here, because she was really good. At the time, I didn't know if she played an instrument, but I knew she sang very well. So I asked her, her and her mom, when I met them after the show, I says, "So where you guys, you live here in Charlotte?" And her mom says, "Well, we live in Denver." And it was a big party with a lot of people there who were probably from all over the place. And I remember thinking, damn, Denver, she ain't from around here. I ain't going to be able to do anything musically with her. But then her mom quickly told me, well, it's Denver, North Carolina. And I was like, wow, I didn't even know there was a Denver, North Carolina. So
Neither did I.
I was all happy again. I was like, okay, here we go. So I asked Payton if she played keys. And she says, yeah, I play keys. And I says, good. And then all I said was, I'm asking you for a reason. And she didn't really know quite what to say. But a few days later, Tommy Jr. said, "Dad, remember Payton?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "I'm going to go over her house. We're going to jam a little bit in that basement." And I said, "Okay." So he comes home and I says, "So can she play keys?" He goes, "Yeah, she can play keys." He says, "But I actually think she's a better guitar player than I am." I says, "Wow." I said, "That's awesome." So like you said a little bit earlier, David, a keyboard player, bass guitar player, which she plays bass in our other band, and of course a keyboard player and a wonderful singer. So it's a wonderful package. And again, both Tommy, Payton, our young drummer Christian, they just brought a boatload to the table, and we're just you know, they're just wonderful assets to our band. And I couldn't be more thankful to perform with them. And you know, you bond as a group, you bond as friends. I will go play any show to open for any band or headline any band with those musicians. 21, 22, however old they are. they to me are just above and beyond what I could have ever expected them to be at that age. So hats off to all of
Thank you. I have to say thank you for that, because that was really sweet.
Yeah, that was a good story too. You know what's interesting about all of this is that I'm always talking about like the next generation. We need, because unfortunately, Tommy, you probably know this. Um, our generation and even the guys that are still out there that are older, a lot of them are really struggling out there. And I know that a lot of times it's a financial motivation to keep going, and there's name ID, put the name up on the sign, and everyone's going to show up. I don't want to mention anyone specifically, but people will send me video clips, and I grew up listening to this stuff. So it's kind of like, that somebody probably, I think Kelly Hansen said this recently, that, maybe it's time to retire. Maybe it's time, because you're not doing the music any justice anymore, and you're going out there, and it's tough because I've heard a lot of these bands in their prime. What I love about you, Tommy, is you're keeping all of this stuff going because you have the vocal chops to do the Boston material. I know you're doing Styx and Journey, and I don't know what else you guys are doing, but you could kind of throw some other things in there. How long do you think you'd do this for, Tommy? Just to start there. Not saying you're, one of those guys. I'm not saying that, but you probably hear some of this yourself, and you probably shake your head going, wow, because I had the album and I heard these songs for years on the radio, and it's almost like it might be better at some point for the tribute bands, for the other, it's kind of like, people would play Beethoven when it came out. Beethoven recorded, and then there was an orchestra, and you can continue to have orchestras performing that music for years and years to come. Like baseball teams, they have to replace the shortstop, they get a new outfielder. You know what I'm saying? And so, a lot of bands have done well. Chicago, for instance, has kept going. But there are a lot of bands out there that I kind of shake my head at and go, I don't know. With your band, it's great because you go out there and you play the Boston material. So anyway, just kind of a long monologue there. I wondered what your thoughts were on all of that stuff.
No, yeah, David, when we go out and perform, be it the Music of Boston, Journey, Styx, Payton does a great job doing some of the, Triumph music.
Nice.
She does a wonderful job with Heart. Fantastic. It's a celebration not only of the music, but we like to think of it as a celebration of life itself. Just, we have a good time doing it. As for me personally, vocally, I would, some might think this is a stretch, but I actually think I'm a better vocalist at 58 than I was at 42.
Yeah.
I've learned there's a lot of things that go along with singing and being vocally healthy. And, given the fact that this is what I do for a living, I made it a priority to take care of my voice and do the things that I need to do so that I can sing. And so it's not to say that I don't get finished with a show and have a massive headache for screaming for, 90 minutes. Because that is a challenge. But, one of the things I'm most proud of at 59, well, I'll be 59 soon, but one of the things I'm most proud of is that I take pride in this music in the original key it was recorded in, and I can still sing it in that key. And, you'll get those out there who'll say, well, he's not a Brad Delp. He'll never be a Brad Delp. You're right. I won't be. I'll be me. And I'll do justice to it. You can bet, because I bring that to the table. I bring my very best, and people will say, well, he's not always hitting the high notes that Brad hit. But what they don't realize is I was such a student of the Boston music, especially Brad's vocals. And how do they think I learned to get around those high notes in a live setting? By watching how Brad did it. Yeah. So, you got those who are there's always going to be comparisons, but I'm proud to be in that comparison because, I was always such a big fan of Brad's. And, of course, the music of Boston, to me, there is none better. And I love to perform it. And, I think I'll perform it for as long as I can.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good answer. I guess I was getting I wasn't implying that you were ready to retire or anything like that. I was noticing out in the world out there in the music world, people will send me clips of so and so. I don't want to mention any names and put anyone down. I do the videos on the topic, so you can watch my channel for that stuff. But it's sad because a lot of the heroes that we grew up listening to, Tommy, they're not where they were, and they're out there on their name. And to me, that's kind of sad because you're rooting. It's like your old baseball player that hits like 40 years old and they're consistently were hitting 30 home runs and batting 350 or whatever. And you're like rooting for them. Come on, you can still do it one more time one more time for the Gipper. You know what I mean? And so I root for them. But I realize that I don't want this thing to go away. So I love bands like DeCarlo. There are other bands out there that do this as a tribute. And then, of course, there are some of the real bands out there that are still killing it, doing a great job. I'm hopeful you can go for another 20 years, brother, if God wills it,
Well, I got a nice young group behind me, Payton being one of them. So it's nice to have that youth on my side, at least in terms of who I'm on stage with, because they keep me young.
Payton, you're just keeping him going. So that's going to be your job from here on out. Prod and push. He starts, he looks like he's going to take a nap. You got to wake him up, say, hey, Tommy, it's showtime.
No, I mean, honestly, I have to interject and just say that I think my bandmates would agree with me, but I've never met anybody who is so disciplined and dedicated to protecting his voice, sounding good, doing the right thing, eating the right thing, doing the things he needs to do, especially on a show day, to deliver and, like you said, do the music justice. I mean, it is a full-time job, whether we're on the stage or off the stage. He's really putting in the work, and that has really inspired me to do better, to not just start screaming and talking to, I love to talk to people after the show, but that kind of stuff. He's really, really smart about handling his voice, and obviously it pays off, and that inspires me because I want to be doing it 20 years, 30 years, 40 years too. And I have to say, the music we get to play, it's really a fresh challenge every show. It is incredibly intricate. And we want to do it justice, because if you don't have all those little intricacies, all those little parts, it doesn't sound the same. But, for that reason, it's so fun to be a student of this music, to always be learning and always be studying and always approaching the challenge, the best we can. And I have to say, I'm always just like really wowed by the way that you do that. Because it always inspires me.
You're talking to Tommy. You're not talking to me. I don't.
No, Dave, you. Yeah.
No, David, I heard
interviews, they're so fantastic. No, both of you. But yeah, the way the way that you always approach the show, and I know the reason we do it is because there's people like us. The same thing you say, people like you, people like me. I mean, we love the music, like we want to hear it. So, we get to listen to it as we're playing it. We just love it. We love playing it. We love hearing it. We never get tired of it. I never get tired of it. So,
You know, David, I heard Steve Perry tell a story once. And if you're not a singer, you wouldn't get it. And at the time, I don't think I did get it because I heard it some years ago. But Steve Perry said he was kind of getting, people were kind of getting on him for not being like after shows and coming out and talking to people. And he would say, people thought he was kind of stuck up in that sense. And until I started touring and doing this music, I never really got it. But Steve was like, you can't go out there and have a great show and go talk, do these after show meet and greets and everything for, you can get into a conversation, you're 30 minutes in, and then the next night, the crowd could suffer because you spent all night talking. Yeah. And he said, and why do you think I was able to sing for this crowd tonight? Because I did the same thing last night. It's really a big thing to save that voice. Lead singer for Def Leppard, he was in an interview and they said, what do you do to protect your voice? And 2 words, he says, shut up.
Yeah.
He says, I shut up. And, that's a big thing. So, for me, again, going back to the singers that originally sang this stuff, some of them are still out there doing it. And as you said, some of them do struggle. But unlike you, I'm still a fan, and I'll always be a fan. And, and again, as Payton said, too, when we go out there and perform, we go out there to do our best. And we don't go out there to say, hey, look at us. In a sense, we are, but there's a bigger part of us that says, don't you just love this music?
Yeah.
We didn't write it, but we're here to perform it for you because we love it. And obviously you love it too, or you wouldn't be here. Right. So,
Right.
Yeah.
Well, speaking, Tommy, of that music, you used to sing with this band, and back in 2017, I think was the last time you were on tour with Boston. And just so everybody is clear, if you go to Wikipedia, it says Tommy DeCarlo, lead singer of Boston, right on Wikipedia. So have you heard from the mothership at all? I mean, it's been grounded for 6 years now, I think. And no word if the band is going to fire up the rockets and blast back into space at any time soon. I'm trying to use that Boston album cover imagery. That's what I'm doing here. I'm going back to my youth. Remember, you just stare at the album covers all day?
Yeah, no, I know. I've done it too. I can remember when Third Stage came out and I opened up that, that big album and I just stared at it and I loved every minute of it. I loved that as much as I did the music.
Right.
No, I don't have any updates on that. Of course, bandboston.com will give you any updates when it comes to anything regarding the band Boston, but I'm hopeful that they'll go out again. I say they because I've been a fan longer than I've been a member. I look at the band Boston as, not only my favorite band, but, a generation's favorite band. So I'm still a fan, and I'll always be a fan. So I certainly hope that Boston will go out again and perform, because there's still people that love that music and they still want to hear it. And they may enjoy listening to us do it, but I know they'd love going out and watching the band do it. So, that would be quite a pleasant surprise, in the latter 2000, it's been 2017 since we toured. I think people are ready, and I think they'd love to go out and see another Boston show. So I'm hopeful. I'm certainly hopeful.
Yeah, and I think it'd be nice, maybe, like I always say, for the fans, maybe some closure. Say if you're going to do like a farewell, like Aerosmith, they're trying to do a farewell. They got interrupted a little bit there, and that might be it. We don't know yet. Talking about guys who have issues with their vocals right now. But I think for Boston fans, it would be nice. Hey, we're going to say goodbye, and we're going to, play all the big cities and show up and just do a big tour to wrap things up. But only time will tell. With Boston, things tend to go slowly, as we've known throughout history. I was there waiting for that third album, I remember, and it took a while. All things Boston kind of move rather slowly. So, Tommy, tell us about, and Payton too, if you want, tell us about where the band is going to be. Where can I go see DeCarlo in concert? Is it just in the Charlotte area, or are you guys going out across the fruited plain?
Well, Payton, you go ahead because you guys got a little something going on this week, so we can talk about that, right?
Yeah, well, I think there's two answers to that question. First of all, if you want to see Tommy DeCarlo sing, you can follow his Facebook page, Tom DeCarlo. And we post a lot of events there. We're going to be in Florida next month and St. Pete for the Bike Fest. So that's going to be a really fun show. There's a lot of other great bands playing at that event, I think all weekend. So we get to just be part of that. And then we're continually adding dates all the time. So a lot of people ask, are you on tour? Are you off tour now? Like, are you home? Are you on the road? And the answer is it's an ongoing kind of tour situation. So it's just, a few dates here and there. We fly out, we come back. So we'll be anywhere from the Northeast to the Midwest. We've been out to California a few times, down Florida, Texas, and everywhere in between. So I hope that people will keep an eye out for any dates on our Facebook, on his Facebook page. And also I have a website now,
make sure you plug that. What's your website?
It's PaytonRoseMusic.com.
Payton Rose, like R-O-S-E, right?
R-O-S-E, it's my middle name. So it's my stage name, Payton Rose, but Payton rosemusic.com. But that was one of my summer projects after I graduated college, was to get that up and going. But I post all our dates on there. And Tommy Jr. and I recently started a little project that's going to be more of a local thing, since we don't get to play here at home all that much anymore and we've missed it. So we don't even have a band name yet, but we have a fabulous drummer and a fabulous bass player that play with us, and I'm on lead vocals and Tommy's on lead guitar, and I play some guitar as well.
I got a name for you guys. How about DeCarlo?
That's right.
That's why I get paid the big bucks. All right.
Right.
This is what the creative skills.
Yeah.
So,
but so anyway, so we have some dates coming up here in North Carolina, in the Charlotte area, and we're hoping to book some more for next year. So if you look at my website, I got some dates up, and so that's where you can follow us. It's probably the best way to stay up to date with tour dates and stuff like that.
Very cool. Tommy, any more music in the pipeline, brother, or what's the status on that?
Yeah, I'm actually working on another single right now. And this one is going to be, I'm going to track this in a key where it's going to be suitable for both Payton and I, because it's a duet, actually. And I'm going to make up for the duet that I was trying to write, but couldn't seem to sing on it. But this one... And I have a good time writing, we may do another DeCarlo record at some point, but, maybe Frontiers will reach out and they'll want us to do another one. But we always have something in the works. And Payton, again, is right with our shows. It's not quite like it was back when we were doing DeCarlo shows. It was every weekend. It's kind of less is more. We go out and we play some great shows. Again, we got a wonderful manager who takes care of us, and we don't have to play as many. But during the time off, I tend to just get back into doing my writing, while Tommy Jr., Payton, they'll go out and they'll perform locally. And our local fans here in Charlotte love that. And you never know when I may make a guest appearance to go out and sing a tune or two with them. But so we're very blessed. We have not only do we have a wonderful band and a wonderful following, but we have wonderful families who support us, and we all support each other. And you know, it's it's a really great time for all of us, especially in the music business, because it can be a tough industry, as you know, but it's you got to make best with what you got, and right now what we got is a great a great following, a great group of people to be with, and we're just having fun and trying to make ends meet. So.
Well, amen, brother. I mean, one of the reasons I love to have you on is because you're one of those real guys that I talk about. By the way, for the audience, here they are. A couple of albums that yours truly owns. DeCarlo, and first one's called Lightning Strikes Twice. And the second one, see, I'm messing it up here, is Dancing in the Moonlight. This album, one of the top albums for me this year, even though it technically came out late last year. Again, if you like a certain band from a certain place, you may dig both of those, because they are fantastic. I want to thank both Tommy and Payton for being on. Tommy, any last words, and then we'll let Payton close things out.
Yeah, definitely. I would just like to say thank you, Dave, for having us on. Thank you for doing what you do. There's not a lot of people who cover this music, it seems, anymore. But the amount of attention that you give it is wonderful. And I think I know, speaking for Payton and myself, being part of your show today, it's we were looking forward to this. So thank you.
No, thank you. Payton, final words from Payton Velligan.
Final words. First of all, shout out to my bandmates for being awesome, and we wouldn't be here without you. Shout out to my parents. But shout out to Harmless Dave, and please subscribe to him if you're watching this video. Subscribe, watch his videos. You post daily. I mean, he's so dedicated, and it's really really good content. Subscribe to him on Patreon. It is well worth it, and he posts some really good stuff, some really good tunes that I've never heard in my life. And it's really awesome to know somebody like you who truly loves rock and wants to see it do well. And really, you show that it's still thriving in so many ways, and it's still alive, and there's still so many people out there who care and who are doing it. And so go support Harmless Dave, the Real Music Observer. Thank you so much for having us.
That was supposed to be a plug for yourself, but okay. I appreciate that, Payton. That was very nice.
David, that's how we roll. That's how we roll,
hey,
man.
Pay it forward. Pay it forward. This is why, everybody, you got to go buy any DeCarlo merchandise, any more T-shirts available. Come on. There's got to be some stuff I can help you sell here. All right, guys.
You do a good job, Dave. You do a good job doing what you do. And, just remember, that there are people out there that appreciate what you do, and we're one of them. So thank you.
All right, guys. On that note, we thank you both for being on. And again, make sure you check out all things DeCarlo, especially over on Facebook. And everybody, thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.